Hi everyone, thank you for being here. Sorry while I get the camera situated here. um, I know it's been a long time and I apologize. I'm sorry. I know that I haven't done a video in quite some time, probably over a month. I know that. Just a lot has been going on, kind of a lot of inner self-reflection, a lot of clearing, a lot of um, just releasing a lot of stuff. And I didn't want to do a video when I'm in that kind of phase and that kind of clearing because I want to make sure the energy is good. I want to make sure that I provide what the best information forward and with good energy. So, and that saying all that, I'm thankful for you all being here. Thankful for you watching, your support. I appreciate it. I hope you're all doing well. Um, Today I want to cover another law of one guidance. Now this is on karma, or as I like to say, unbalanced energy. Basically, that will include physical, mental, emotional pain. It will include ancestral lineage, because a lot of our ancestors in the past have that energy from them has carried on to our lives here, okay? And so there's always that connection of energy. And so it's important in that aspect to ask to cut those cords, cut those ties to that energy. Now, that doesn't mean, so I'll start with that since I'm getting right into it here. It doesn't mean cutting those connections with your ancestors, those who have passed on, those who are no longer in the physical, or those who are still in the physical, like maybe a parent or a aunt and uncle or a grandparent or another relative. So this isn't to cut those ties totally, it's to cut that connected energy where that energy carries forward, okay? So what do I mean by that? First, it could be where you're picking up energy from a grandparent who, let's say, when they were younger, they did or act a certain way, or you're, how do I say, you're picking up habits from them maybe, or you're picking without even realizing it, or it could be just you're picking up that energy that has not necessarily anything to do with you, okay? So it could be something that you feel a tie to, a connection that maybe it feels like a sadness for them, maybe it feels, anxiety, or it could be anything else, okay? It could be whatever the case. So cutting that cord, what I do is I just ask that the ancestral lineage cords be cut, be severed, okay? The energy from that. So that doesn't mean, like I said, they're cutting the ties and not wanting any more connection with your ancestors or your relatives. That's not what I mean. It's just that energy, because, a lot of times, with the old sayings are like father like son, like mother like daughter, etc. So you pick up those energy, and so it's disconnecting that for who you are, okay? So maybe it's something that you say, oh, you're doing something that a parent did or a grandparent always did when they were here in the physical, or they are in the physical now, or you're picking up their energy like you're doing things like them, okay? So it's kind of cutting that energy. Hopefully that makes sense. So I want to go into talking about here karma or unbalanced energy. Some people don't like the word karma. Some people don't like that. So you can call it unbalanced energy. You can call it physical, emotional, mental pain from the past that's coming up. Could be past lives, especially. So when we're in that, and I'll go into the physical, the emotional pain, the mental pain, okay? So, first of all, how do you get rid of karma? Well, first, the biggest thing is forgive. Forgive yourself and forgive others, okay? Especially forgiving yourself, okay? Uh, so, what I always like to do is I always say, okay, let's say you had a difficult situation with a person, okay? And let's say it's a breakup, okay? It's an end of a relationship, or let's say it's a loss of a job. And you feel angered by it or upset by it because you felt hurt or you felt betrayed or whatever the case, okay? Or maybe you were the one doing the hurt to somebody else, or you were doing the betrayal to somebody else, or whatever the case. First, it's asking yourself, okay, have you learned something from this experience? Have you learned anything from this experience? If so, are you ready to let that go? Are you ready to let it go? You forgive that person, forgive yourself, and truly mean it. Not just say, yes, I forgive them. Yes, I forgive myself. And then let go. No, you have to really, truly mean it. You have to really, truly mean that in your heart, uh, rather than just say the words and there's no feeling behind it or no energy behind it, okay? So letting go, that's part of that letting go process. Forgiveness is the key to letting go of the unbalanced karma. Now, you could do a couple of different things. You could, first of all, confront or talk to the person if they're still in the physical, if you're still, and resolve and say, hey, yes, we got off on a bad, ended in a bad way, and I forgive myself for this situation. I've learned from it, and I want to move on. Uh, I hope one day you can forgive me, or whatever. Okay. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can either write it down. You can look at yourself in the mirror and do that, which is one of the best ways of doing it if you're not wanting to confront that person, or if that person is already, let's say it's a relative that passed, died, and they're no longer in the physical. So it's going in front of the mirror, expressing yourself to that person, okay? Talking to yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror, and then saying what you need to say, okay? Writing it down helps tremendously. Um, I have journals and that, but I've had journals for my channelings, and I've had journals I used to write in a journal about my own feelings and expressing myself, excuse me, in the past. And I had stopped doing that for many years. And recently, uh, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I started writing in a journal again to express, and this has tremendously helped me release that emotion and that feeling for whatever it is. Okay. So that is the best way to release that unbalanced energy that you have with a person or whatever. It could be a situation, like I said, it could be a job that you were, let's say, let go from, and it was not a good situation. It could be you, maybe you were the manager and you had to terminate somebody's employment, and you felt really bad about it because it wasn't really up to you, your decision. It was from above you, you know, from a higher up position that wanted to terminate that employee. So, you know, it's that forgiveness. You forgive yourself for the situation, and then you can see yourself expressing yourself to that person. Okay, so that's a good way. Um, so I want to talk about the physical pain, the emotional pain, and then go into basically a little bit of that mental pain. Okay, so first of all, the physical pain. typically, and these are a Law of One. This is from the Law of One book series, book 2, okay, from one of the sessions in that book. So if you do want to feel you want to read that book, it is book 2, Law of One series, okay. So physical pain is typically derived from mental emotional complex, okay? So it's typically could be past life injuries imprinted on your soul. Okay, so some cases pain is spiritual in nature to help create a learning tool, okay? So for the soul to evolve. So if you see me going back and forth, I'm just checking my notes because I have lots of stuff written down that I've summarized from the book. Um, so it's a chance for the soul to develop more spiritually, okay? So a lot of times these are circumstances that we always agree on these things, okay? We always agree to the situations or the experiences that we're in. We always have to agree because it's part of that free will. Uh, so sometimes we don't understand these are things that are we need to learn from, okay? We need to grow spiritually from. So, for example, let me bring up a past life injury, okay? Um, I've had past life regression, and I've gone through that, and my past life that I had on Earth as a human in a human form was a woman in the early 1800s, and I probably talked about this already, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I was hung. I was hung, murdered. Okay, well, hung basically. And I developed neck problems in this life, even before I had a car accident, back in 2000. But even before that, I had developed neck issues, and that was derived from that past life. I found out. So it's releasing that and saying, I let that go. That has no ties. It's connecting with your higher self. It's connecting with your soul and saying, you know what, this is not from this lifetime. This is not of this body. That was from that lifetime. That needs to have no connection to this lifetime. So it's cutting that cord. Say, I want that cord cut from that lifetime. Okay. So that is a good example. It could be an injury from this life. It could be maybe you broke your leg. Okay. Maybe let's say a good example was I'll use an example that I've learned from a book. I was reading that one of Dolores Cannon's books. A guy was super busy, workaholic. He worked, didn't take any time to do what he was really came here to this planet to do, what his soul mission was. And one night he was coming home from work, and a group of guys jumped him and beat him and stole his wallet and all that and badly injured him. Well, this actually, the guy that was beat up had to be out of work for several weeks, if not, I think it was 2 or 3 months actually. And because of his injuries were so bad, what happened was he found out that these guys that beat him up were his soul, part of his soul family, his friends on the other side. They were here to say, if you don't do what your soul mission is do, we will wake you up. And that was part of that. Okay. So that could be an example of that physical pain. So it's always a learning tool. So if you can look at it as, what did you learn from the situation? What can you gain from that? Okay. How can you evolve beyond that? Okay. So that's a physical pain. Uh, in regards to that, I want to talk about, let's say, other things like birth defects, okay? Maybe somebody has a deformity. Maybe somebody is, let's say they have a disability like autism, or maybe they were born without an arm or a leg, or whatever the case is. Those are all learning experiences. If you can learn what did you learn? Maybe it's you've learned how to be look at things in a different perspective. Maybe it's to learn how to be different, to stand out. Maybe it's to help teach people how to uh, uh, evolve from those experiences. Okay, and other things that goes along with it is diseases. Diseases are it provides another learning tool. If the disease, let's say somebody comes in contact with something, could be anything, is unneeded for spiritual development, then it does not have an effect on the person. So let's say you get the flu virus, you get sick, and it's like, okay, I got sick, no big deal. If it's unneeded, it's not going to have any effect on your emotional state, your physical state. Well, you feel miserable, of course, but it's not going to have really that attachment to it. Okay, so that's a good example of a disease. Now, let's say there's cancer, right? There's all kinds of other diseases. Those are tools as well to help what you can gain from it, what can you learn from it, how you can evolve beyond that. Okay. Um, some of it is unresolved emotional pain, could be from a past life that's holding into the soul, and then it kind of imprints on the physical body. So all these part of karma or unbalanced energy. So the emotional pain would be things, we'll get into emotional pain would be things like death of a loved one. Now that's extremely difficult, and I can be attest to that, as some of you might know. A couple years ago, my brother had committed suicide. So that was a traumatic experience for our entire family here. At the same time, my dad was in the hospital with sepsis, and he was in a coma. So those are traumatic experiences, a lot of emotional pain. Um, and a lot of times, so you can ask yourself, oh, what can I learn from this? What can I gain from this, maybe? And maybe it's you are discovering more about your soul, discovering about who you are. Maybe it opens you up more to your heart frequency, provides you other opportunities to be there to help others, to learn to be more compassionate, to it could be reaching out, it could be anything. Okay, so you could always ask yourself, go back to ask yourself, what am I gaining from this? What can I gain from this? Okay, that really helps that unbalanced energy, that really helps sort it out for you. Okay, uh, now the one thing I want to talk about, last thing I want to talk about, because I don't want to make it too long, this video's, is things that kind of get in the way of they said in the Law of One series, things that will get in the way of our soul evolvement. And we all do this. We all have, in today's society, it's so difficult to get away from it. How do I put this? Well, any kind of, I would say, internet, TV, computer, technology, electronics, toys, any of that stuff, any kind of gadget, anything that is really could get in our way of our soul ability to reach basically the heart chakra, the green ray chakra, okay? The fourth density level, especially being online, watching TV, on the internet. In the Law of One, they talked about those are the types of things that really block the soul's ability to reach the green ray, the heart chakra. Okay. That's a difficult one because so many of us are on the internet or are on social media, and I stopped doing social media. Oh, over a year ago, I stopped Facebook. The only thing I use is actually, I don't do Twitter, I don't do Instagram, I don't any of those. The only thing I use is YouTube here to do my videos. People have asked me to go on Twitter, and I said, no, I don't want to bog myself down too much because I'm already enough. I try to limit myself on the internet. I've actually recently stopped browsing Ascension websites. Sometimes I catch those things. The majority of the time, all I do is check out. I have a few YouTube channels that I subscribe to, some science ones and some climate ones, about the climate. So I enjoy those type of videos, but I try not to go on it too much. And that's difficult. I use my phone for using meditation. There's a meditation app that I highly recommend. It's called Insight Timer, and I'll put that in the description box. The name of it again, Insight Timer. Some of you probably have heard of it. It's an amazing, awesome meditation app that's free. They have people that do live meditations on there. They do all kinds of, people that create their own music. They do self-healing. There's just amazing amount of meditations that are pre-recorded as well. It also gives you ability to connect with other people from all over the world. So I really enjoy, I use that every day. So those are the things that kind of block your ability to reach your heart chakra, okay? I do, everybody, we all have to make our own decisions on what we want to do. But I notice that social media especially is very negative. I've used it to try to not promote, but use it to share information I get, spiritual information. I've tried to use that, and I've had people where you call people trolling you, or trolls that are very negative, and they try to discredit you. And I just said, nope, enough. I'm tired of this, because there are people purposely do that are, I just believe they're influenced by dark energy. Okay. So couple of things I'm gonna tie it up with here is an alignment with all the chakras. Okay. Each chakra has, like I said, there's the base, the root chakra, which is the base chakra, which is the base of all, okay, which is, you could say, would be the elements, okay, like the earth, air, fire, water. Those are base root chakra. That has your, it acts as a base. So that chakra never changes, okay? That always stays solid, okay? Does not waver. The other chakra that acts also stays the same as the seventh crown chakra. That is the total culmination of all the chakras together, okay? The fluctuations happen, which is a lot of our emotional, a lot of physical, it's a lot of the other learning chakras, which are from the second chakra, which is the orange ray, or the sacral chakra, okay, up through the third eye, which is the pineal gland, or the sixth chakra, okay. So those are between there fluctuate, okay, as we go through our experiences, okay. So I just wanted to kind of tie that up, just so you kind of know. So the crown and the root stays the same. It doesn't fluctuate whatsoever, really, as it stays as the base, the root, and the top, the head of the chakra, the head of all the chakras is the crown, okay? So those stay they don't waver, the energy, okay? But all the other chakras between fluctuate as we're having experiences, learning from it, going through new new spiritual development, so on. So I hope you've gained something from this. I do. I hope this has helped understand a little bit more of unbalanced energy, karma, dealing with the physical, emotional, mental pain. Um, Emotional, mental kind of goes hand in hand. They kind of tie into together. So when I was talking about the emotional, that really is a lot of the mental as well. Um, and so I hope that's helped. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please check the like box or check the like. Uh, please leave a comment. I appreciate it. Check out my other videos. I will try to not wait so long next time to do a video. I still need to do a video on my experiences with higher dimensional beings and physical ETs. I've had many experiences with that I wanted to share, that some of them were, well, they were all pretty amazing, actually. And nothing but positive energy from these experiences. I've never had a negative encounter, knock on wood. Um, Most of the negative encounters I had were maybe spiritual attacks, and I've had many of us get those. Spiritual attacks, psychic attacks, we all get those. And that's caused usually by dark energy influencing other people and in the spirit realm too. So anyway, thank you again. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again hopefully soon.